To record a static scene, press the Fixture button, then select the fixtures that you wish to include into your static scene. Next, use your channel faders or the data wheels to set your scene. I'll use the faders to set my scene. I'll adjust the beam position. Set a color. And a gobo, and I'll add some rotation to it. To record this as a scene, I'll then press the Record button, followed by the Scene button. At this point, you can name your scene by using the plus/minus switches or data wheels 1 and 2. These allow you to change the characters. You can then use the right arrow switch and the left arrow switch to move the cursor over. I've connected an external keyboard which will allow me to name the scene a lot faster. I've named my scene Green Scene. I can then use data wheel 3 to add a fade time to it. If you leave it at 0, there will be no fade time. To store the scene, select one of the 48 number switches on the page that you desire to store the scene to. You can use the up-down arrow switches to change between pages. I'll store my scene to button number 2. The scene will then have been recorded. To play back a scene, press the Scene button, followed by the desired scene that you wish to play back. It will play back immediately. You can then select the Fixture button, select fixtures that are included into that scene, and make adjustments on the fly to record a new scene. I'll adjust my position using my joystick. I'll change the color using my faders. I'll then bend down to my gobo wheel and change the gobo. I can then store this as a new scene on a different scene button by pressing Record, Scene. I'll then name the scene. I'll once again use my external keyboard. I'll add a fade time to it of 3 seconds, then store it to any of the 48 number buttons. Once again, if you wish to save it on a different page, you can use the up and down page buttons. I've stored it on button number 3, and the scene has then been recorded. You can always toggle back and forth between scenes as desired. Pressing the same scene button deactivates the scene. This is Scene Solo Mode. To play back a scene in solo mode, press the Scene button. In our display, it indicates that we are in solo mode. Use the page buttons to select the page for the scene that you wish to play back, and select the scene. I pre-recorded this scene that includes only 2 of my power spots. I pre-recorded a scene on button 5 that includes the other 2 power spots. As you can see, one scene overrode the other. If I want to add 2 scenes together, I can hold the Add button down, then select the scene that I wish to add. Both scenes are now playing back at the same time. In add mode, channels that are not part of the new scene will be left in the current positions instead of fading to 0, and any chases that were running will keep running as long as the channels in the chase are not overridden by the new scene. This method of playback allows channels from previous scenes to track through to the next scene as long as the new scene doesn't change those channels. You can permanently turn on the add mode by deselecting the scene button, holding add, then selecting the scene button. Our display now tells us that we are in scene add mode. Scenes will always pile on or stack on top of each other now when selected. To record a scene using the presets that we recorded earlier, press the fixture button, then select the fixtures that you recorded the presets for. I'll open the shutter, as I did not include the shutter or dimmer as part of my presets. I'll then press the preset button, and I'll select from my rows of presets using the number buttons. My color presets are on the top row, my gobo presets are on the second row, and I recorded a couple of focus presets on the third row. I'll select button 4 for a light blue preset. I'll select button 17 for a gobo preset. I can then select a focus preset with the third row. You can store the scene as is or make modifications to it at this time using the channel faders. I'll add rotation to the existing scene. To store this as a scene, press record, scene, then name the scene. I'll use my external keyboard to name it. I named it light blue scene. I can then store it on one of the 48 number switches. I'll select button 7 to store it. You can then manually scroll through program scenes. As you can see, the scene was stored including all of our presets and the manual adjustment including gobo rotation. Pressing the same scene button cause a blackout.